Hello and welcome to Playback, TRT World's weekly showcase of our best stories from around the globe. Coming up, 1 year on, Beirut is still reeling from the damage caused by a massive explosion at the city's port. The mental health of professional athletes takes center stage at the Olympics. We'll tell you how Serbia has become a popular gateway to the rest of the world. And how one man's face is causing a row between two Balkan neighbors. Protesters clashed with security forces in Lebanon on the anniversary of the explosion that claimed more than 200 lives in Beirut. More than half of the city was either damaged or destroyed when a large store of ammonium nitride exploded. And a year on, questions remain about why it happened and who is responsible. Imogen Kimber has the story.
Tempers flaring in the Lebanese capital, a year after hundreds of tons of ammonium nitrate exploded in the port of Beirut. Thousands of residents marched the city's streets, calling for someone to be held responsible. More than 200 people were killed by the explosion and half the city damaged or destroyed.
This explosion was the result of many years of these corrupted politicians. Everybody knew about this explosion. Everybody told each other. And now they deny it. They say we don't, it's not none of our business. We were not behind this. What I want to say, that we are not going to give up. We are going to stay to know the truth.
Today we are here because we are demanding this justice, because it's the only way to get back the 200 victims' rights. They're gone, we cannot bring them back, but we need justice, and this is what will make us survive.
Issam survived the explosion, but lost his brother that day. For him, the country's corrupt politicians have to go.
We should change the whole authority. We should select new people in power who really want to serve Lebanon, people who don't only say empty words.
Lebanon has been in political deadlock since the blast, without a functioning government for a full year. President Michel Aoun has promised a new government soon, after newly appointed Prime Minister Najib Mikati failed to form one in time for the anniversary.
I know you have waited a long time for the formation of a new government. Today, we have the opportunity with a new Prime Minister to form it. We hope to form it in the shortest time possible. But I promise you, I'm making every effort hand in hand with the designate Prime Minister, following the requirements of the Constitution, to overcome all obstacles to form a rescue government.
It was one of the largest non-nuclear explosions in history and led to a currency crash that plunged more than half the country's population into poverty. The financial crisis has been described by the World Bank as one of the worst in the last 150 years. On Wednesday, a UN-backed donor conference raised over $357 million in aid to meet the country's humanitarian needs, after President Aoun called for urgent support. French President Emmanuel Macron said that Paris will provide $118 million in the coming months, adding that Lebanon's leaders owe their people the truth. US President Biden has also pledged $100 million in aid. Pain on the streets of Beirut today is palpable as people remember the day they lost their homes and loved ones. But there is also a lot of anger, and that anger is unlikely to go away anytime soon. Stuck with a corrupt political system that allowed the explosion to happen and blocked the investigation into it, the Lebanese people are at their wits' end. Imogen Kimber, TRT World, Beirut.
When the explosion happened, Isra Seblani's wedding was in full swing nearby. She was pictured in her wedding dress at the exact moment of the blast. Sarah Firth has the story.
It should be a treasured memory in Lebanese doctor Isra Seblani's life. She just married the love of her life, businessman Ahmed Subeya. Instead, August 4th, 2020, became a nightmare she now longs to forget. Her wedding video captures the terrifying moment of the Beirut blast. More than 200 people were killed by the massive explosion at the port of Beirut, and thousands more were injured.
We don't even like to go back in memory to that time, especially me, to a point where until today I still don't have a photo of my wedding day at home. I didn't put a photo of us up, and I can't, even though I received it as a gift, but I can't.
For Isra and Ahmed, working through trauma is complex.
That day that I was waiting for a long time affects me in two ways. One, that I couldn't be happy, and second, the fact that it was my wedding day. I should supposedly be happy, but it was a disaster for the Lebanese people. I can't see parents who lost their children, or children who lost their parents, or the destruction that happened, and be happy. I won't lie to myself.
Isra says this year she's going to spend her wedding anniversary at work. Her husband agrees.
I will also try to be at work. This is a day during which we can't have any plans for our anniversary, because this is a cursed day for all of Lebanon, not only for us as a couple who lost their wedding. This is a day of sadness and sorrow. It's a black day, a day of mourning for all Lebanon.
1 year on, and like many people in Lebanon right now, Isra and Ahmed are planning to leave the country. They don't need much, they say, but they do want security. Sarah Firth, TRT World.
Tennis champ Naomi Osaka withdrew from a major event at the Tokyo Games, citing struggles with depression. And gymnastics star Simone Biles decided not to compete in all but one individual final, saying she was not mentally fit. Franco Ciardo takes a look at the emotional price some professional athletes pay to be at the top of their game.
Defending Olympic champion Simone Biles stunned officials at the 2020 Games and fans around the globe when she withdrew from the individual all-around competition.
Yeah, I say put mental health first, because if you don't, then you're not going to enjoy your sport and you're not going to succeed as much as you want to.
Swimming superstar Michael Phelps, the most decorated Olympian in history, had suffered suicidal thoughts at the peak of his career.
I can honestly say, really, after every Olympics, I think I fell into a major state of depression. And a year and a half, 2 years after that Olympics, I guess probably a year, I didn't want to be alive anymore.
The problems that we have are usually of long-standing presence and are not function of our being athletes. They're a function of our being human beings. I'm sure it was an enormous leap for Simone Biles to take the step that she took. But without the emotional component and the drive and all the elements of psychological elements, she would not have attained what she did.
Tennis superstar Naomi Osaka withdrew from the French Open, tweeting about her struggles with depression. The world's highest-paid female athlete lit the Olympic torch, but ended up getting knocked out of the 2020 Games in the third round of competition.
One of the things that many sports psychologists do when they're working with athletes, in their attempt to have them be more confident, adopt a kind of strength, if you will, an inner mental strength. They're playing on the very emotions that foster this macho kind of invulnerable persona.
Major football and basketball stars have expressed support and understanding for Simone Biles' struggles.
For sure, I can definitely relate to, how they feel. I think battling mental health issues, sometimes I look back like, man, I had a couple of those moments.
I think it's important that we work on our mental state. And as you've seen with Simone Biles, I think there needs to be more conversation around that.
Mental health experts are hoping this will be a watershed moment in sports when checking in on one's mental health becomes as common as checking out the box score. Frank Ciardo, TRT World, New York.
Staying with the Olympics, Lamont Marcel Jacobs of Italy has become the new face of Tokyo 2020 after the 26-year-old won gold in the 100-meter sprint. It's the first time since 2004 that someone who isn't Usain Bolt has won the title. Jacobs is also the first European to win it since Britain's Linford Christie at Barcelona in 1992. He was born in Texas to an Italian mother and an American father. After the race, Jacobs said it was his childhood dream to win an Olympic medal and thanked his family for their support. And Jamaica's women have once again swept the track with Elaine Thompson-Herah defending her 2016 100-meter gold medal. She set an Olympic record and claimed the title of fastest woman alive. Her teammates Shelly Ann Fraser-Price and Sharika Jackson took silver and bronze. Fraser-Price is the first female sprinter to win 100-meter medals at 4 consecutive Olympics. And a week into the Games, Turkey finally hit gold, and with a bullseye, no less. Mete Gazoz became the country's first archery Olympic champion on Saturday. The 22-year-old was in impeccable form in the men's individual final. In the run-up to the competition's decider, Mete knocked out world #1 American Bradley Ellison in the quarters. He later made easy work of Japan's Takaharu Furukawa in the semis. And then, when a calm and collected manner mattered most, Mete kept his cool against Italy's Mauro Nespoli to finally claim the title. Well, the Olympics are not the only sports going on in Japan, of course. With one of the oldest populations in the world, seniors there are encouraged to keep active. Although it's usually considered a sport of young people, one group of Tokyo women with an average age of 70 are giving cheerleading a shot. Sena Saylan reports.
Age really is just a number for these energetic women at a Tokyo gym. 89-year-old Fumi Takino founded the senior cheerleading squad Japan Pom Pom in 1996 with the aim of getting people moving. The group started with only 5 members but now has 17 active participants.
They are all very motivated. They want to celebrate our 25th anniversary, and the pain in their legs and hips will not stop them from going forward. Having the chance to go on stage, to be invited to events, having fun is the most important thing.
Making it into the team is no easy feat. It's over 55s only, and hopefuls must audition successfully and survive a 3-month trial period. Takino says when she started out, many didn't see the appeal of senior cheerleading. But as the squad attracted the attention of local media, views changed.
Today, there are several other groups and people have got used to seeing us on TV. It might still be disturbing for some people, but we're here. Let's say we have earned our place in society.
The movement and social interaction is beneficial for the body and the mind. Masako Matsuaka, a 73-year-old member of the squad, says the activity is her ikigai, or purpose in life.
It is partly to stay healthy, but more than that, it is a reason to be. It's a reason to be. It's nice to bring something different into your daily life.
For these energetic elders, cheerleading is providing a fun and fancy way to stay young. Sena Saylan, TRT World.
In Turkey, excavations of the ancient Arslantepe Mound in the country's east have uncovered the cultural and religious histories of many ancient civilizations. Now the site has been added to UNESCO's World Heritage List. Let's take a look. An artist in Gaza is creating unusual works of art by combining calligraphy with graffiti. Bilal Khalid says he wants to make beauty from the ugliness of war and the ongoing Israeli blockade. Nizar Sadawi reports.
Palestine's first calligraffiti artist Bilal Khalid integrates the beauty of Arabic letters with graffiti, sending a strong message. His latest creations are 2 murals in the middle of Gaza City. One says, "The soul that fights in us," and the other, "Right is my weapon and I will fight."
I chose graffiti as a means of resistance through the culture of street art. I do it to convey messages, whether to the occupier or to strengthen the steadfastness of Palestinian people. I am representing Palestine through graffiti art, trying to be the best ambassador for this country. I always introduce myself as someone from Gaza, from this besieged place, and from occupied Palestine.
Gaza's graffiti is unique and has always been a part of the city's identity. Most work here is political, with slogans of defiance against the Israeli blockade or commemorating fallen martyrs. But Palestinians also write on walls to congratulate newlyweds on their marriage, or pilgrims who have completed the Muslim obligation of Hajj.
For the Palestinian people, since the first Intifada until today, this art has been present on the walls. Perhaps Palestinian artists were able to highlight the importance of this art with their creativity. We know that the international artist Banksy visited Gaza and left a mark on the walls. Among the artists who should also be referred to, the international Palestinian artist Bilal Khaled, who embodied through his paintings the role of Arabic calligraphy in the art of graffiti.
Khaled is determined to show the elegance of Arabic calligraphy to the world, and he is succeeding. His artwork has already been displayed in many countries across the globe.
I'm going out to the world to spread beauty and to spread the culture of Arabic calligraphy and convey the message of the occupied Palestinian people.
Gazan artists say they create art to show the beauty beneath the destruction and to convey a message to the world that despite the savagery of the Israeli blockade, life is still worth living. Nizar Sadawi, TRT World, Gaza.
In Egypt, the city of Alexandria has opened a beach specifically designed to enable access for those with disabilities. Shoaib Hassan has the story.
Abdul Rahman Mohammed has been coming to this beach for years, but unlike other children, he could only watch the waves from beyond the sand, sitting in his wheelchair. Until now.
I'm very happy that they designed a beach just for us. At first, I could not swim, but now I don't need help from my father or anyone else. I don't need help from anyone.
Abdul Rahman is not the only disabled person to ride the waves at Alexandria Beach. Many others are now able to enjoy the water. Lifeguards are there to help, but officials say they will not be necessary soon.
In 3 or 4 days, we will get a barrier that we place in the sea, so that the people with disabilities can swim while being surrounded by it, and they can be in the water without putting their lives in danger.
It's part of an effort to promote access for the disabled across the country.
So now we will have a beach in the far east and another in the far west in Al-Agami and the third one in Anfushi. With this initiative, we're encouraging beach tourism. We're specifically targeting those with disabilities. Hopefully they will come from all over the world and enjoy their experience.
Everyone is already overjoyed by the opportunity.
We used to look out to the sea from the sidewalk. We couldn't swim or enjoy the water. Now we are like everyone else. In everything, we don't need to ask for help from anyone. We make it to the beach with our wheelchairs and canes and enjoy the water. At first, we used to look at it like anyone passing by. We used to feel like we weren't part of this country.
That appears to be changing now that everyone can enjoy a swim on a hot summer's day. Shoaib Hassan, TRT World.
Well, in the past year and a half, where you live has become very important in determining where you can go. Travelers from countries deemed high risk for coronavirus, like India, have been completely banned from entering some countries or required to observe strict and sometimes expensive quarantine rules. Rumeysa Chodar explains how Serbia has become a popular gateway to the rest of the world.
Recently, Serbia has become more than just a tourism destination. Quarantine tourism is flourishing in the country as thousands of travelers from red-listed countries, particularly India, stop over in Belgrade until they're eligible to enter their final destination.
Actually, we are traveling to Canada from here, so we have a layover here for 7 days. Now we'll travel to Canada tomorrow morning.
India has registered the world's second highest number of coronavirus cases, and its residents are barred from entering many countries unless they spend 2 weeks elsewhere en route. Serbia offers visa-free entry for vaccinated Indians with a negative PCR test, so it's the perfect place to transit.
We are coming from India. It is a visa-free country for Indians, and it is also a beautiful city to explore, and we have a lot of good places to see around. So that was the main reason we selected Serbia to visit.
In an otherwise slow tourist season, hotels in Belgrade have filled up in the past month. Ilya Similjanic says he hosted thousands of Indian guests in July.
Right now, in the city, we have reached a moment when extra beds are sought out, and there are many hotels which are completely full. Currently, there is not a single hotel that doesn't have at least a certain number of Indian guests.
After more than a year of slow and unreliable business, Serbia has carved out a unique place for itself that may keep its tourism sector afloat until things get back to normal. Rümeysa Çodar, TRT World.
Croatia is set to enter the Eurozone in 2023, and the public has decided on the images that will feature on its new euro coins. But the top choice isn't popular with Serbia's central bank, which has threatened legal action if Croatia goes ahead. Mirna Brekalo has the story from Zagreb.
Croatia is hoping for better fortunes as it prepares to fling the national currency kuna for the euro. And the EU's newest member state has an idea on how its new coins will look.
The Croatian National Bank has decided on the final proposals for the 5 motifs on the national side of the future 5 euro coins. 10-cent coins will feature an image of Nikola Tesla.
Most of the votes went to Nikola Tesla, one of the greatest scientists of the 20th century, who was born in Croatia into a Serbian family. Both Croatia and Serbia claim him as a national hero. And the choice has once again sparked one of many disputes between the Balkan neighbours and wartime foes. But Croatian historian Tvrtko Jakovina believes having Tesla on coins will benefit not just the scientist's legacy, but also the future relations between Croatia and Serbia.
30 years ago, HDZ was responsible for demolishing of Tesla's monuments. 30 or 25 years later, they are now ready to put Tesla on the Croatian euro coins, as well as they are responsible for returning monuments to different parts of Croatia that were dedicated to Nikola Tesla. So there was some sort of growing or maturing in Croatia, and that might be a positive gesture.
Croatia, with a population of 4.4 million, has been a member of the European Union since 2013, and its citizens are mainly hoping that the euro will bring economic prosperity rather than political turbulence.
I don't know what the problem is. He's both a Croatian and Serbian, so what difference does it make? He was a flesh and blood, just like all of us.
Paying with the kuna will soon become history as Croatia's planned Eurozone entry date draws near. Last year, Croatia joined the European exchange mechanism known as the Eurozone's waiting room, and the country expects to introduce the euro in 2023.
What we actually face now is to meet the Maastricht criteria and make other structural reforms, but everything is going according to plan, and we expect to meet every condition by March 2022.
A poll by the European Commission in May reported that 61% of Croatians supported the switch to the euro. And despite the debate surrounding Tesla, the Croatian government seems more charged up about the prospects of finally entering the Eurozone. Mirna Brekalo, TRT World, Zagreb, Croatia.
Amazon is facing a record-breaking fine of almost $900 million from the European Union after it was found to have broken the bloc's laws on data privacy. The penalty was placed on the internet giant 2 weeks ago, but the news has just been confirmed by the company. The EU accuses Amazon of failing to comply with legislation regarding how it uses the personal data of customers. Amazon says the decision is without merit, but it is the largest EU fine of a tech giant since Google's $50 million punishment in 2019. And guess who's the newest billionaire in town? Yes, Rihanna. According to Forbes, the 9-time Grammy Award winner is worth a whopping $1.7 billion, and most of it is not from her music. An estimated $1.4 billion comes from her cosmetic line, Fenty Beauty. This officially makes her the wealthiest female musician on the world. Well, that rounds up your week of news here on Playback. We leave you with pictures of local volunteers who've joined firefighters to put out the fires across Turkey's southern coast. Stay tuned to TRT World for the latest stories.